Hey, what's going on, Aces? It is Throwback Thursday, and I'm so excited that Rush Hour 4 has been confirmed. So I wanted to make this video as just an homage and bringing us back up to speed on the original Rush Hour. It's one of my favorite all-time videos. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we have on the last day of the British rule in Hong Kong, July 1st, 1997, Detective Inspector Lee, who's of course played by Jackie Chan, he leads a raid and he's hoping to arrest the unidentified anonymous crime lord Jun Tao. So he finds that Jun Tao's right-hand man escapes in a boat. So he finds all kind of treasures stolen by Jun Tao, and he gives this to Consulate Han and British Commander Thomas Griffin as a farewell gift. Because, as we remember, Consulate Han came to Los Angeles as a diplomat, and he brought his cute little daughter Sue Young. If y'all remember her back in the sea singing Mariah Carey's Fantasy. Well, she unfortunately gets kidnapped on her way to school. So Inspector Lee actually he's called by the diplomat Han, right, in order to help him track down his daughter. Well, the FBI is actually afraid that Inspector Lee's involvement could cause an international incident. So they get Chris Tucker's character, Detective James Carter, to quote unquote kind of like babysit him. And he's trying to, kind of keep him cool and under wraps while the FBI look for his daughter, Sue Young. So Carter takes Carter takes Inspector Lee on a sightseeing tour to try to keep him away from the embassy. However, Lee makes his own way to the Chinese consulate where Han and FBI await the news about his daughter. So they're arguing back and forth. And of course, Chris Tucker picks up the phone and he negotiates with the babysitters for a $50 million drop. And if y'all remember, he's like, "Who you think you kidnapped? Chelsea Clinton?" Oh my goodness. So the FBI call the warehouse and they get a team of agents, and they're unfortunately killed by a big explosion. And we see, the kidnapper nearby. So Lee and Carter, they chase him down and he drops the detonator. So then we have Carter's colleague, who is a bomb expert. Her name is Tania Johnson, and she traces it back to Clive, a man who previously arrested Carter. So Lee presses Clive into revealing his business relationship with Jun Tao, and they meet in a restaurant in Chinatown. So right here we have the infamous car scene where Jackie Chan's character, Inspector Lee, he grabs the radio. And Carter is like, "Don't you ever touch a black man's radio." He says, right here, he says, "The Beach Boys are great American music." And Carter replies, "The Beach Boys are going to get you a great butt whooping," right? So then he starts playing Jay-Z and they go off to finish their police business. But I love the exchanges between these two, man. This movie is so classic. It is hilarious. It is funny. The fact that, Jackie Chan, he does all his own stunts, like much respect. But for me, who really made the movie, who really sold it was Chris Tucker. Because this dude is just, he is so, he was hilarious in Friday. He was hilarious in, in the Rush Hour series. Chris Tucker, man, I just got done watching Money Talks not too long ago. He is so underrated. He is one of the best comedians of our lifetime. And like, the more I watch him, the older I get, the more I appreciate his comedic timing and his genius. But anyway, going back to the movie. So they end up going to the restaurant and actually seeing a surveillance video of Jun Tao carrying the little girl Sue Young into a van. So then Lee and Carter, they try to get her back, but the FBI steps in and they blame of course, these two for the botched random drop. So then they threatened to send Lee back to Hong Kong. However, Carter refuses to give up and appeals to Johnson for assistance to sneak onto Lee's plane, where he persuades, Lee to come back and save the little girl because she needs them. So then they sneak into the Chinese art exhibit and at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And now a $70 million ransom is delivered. Carter, Lee, and Johnson all enter disguised as guests. And Carter ordered all the guests to evacuate for safety. He gets everybody out. They all start running for their life. And, that pisses off the FBI. But Lee actually catches Griffin. If y'all can remember, he was the police commissioner for the UK in Britain. And he sees him accepting a remote detonator from one of the Chinese bad guys. So Lee and Johnson realize that Griffin is actually Juntao, okay? And Carter recognizes him from the Chinatown surveillance tape. So then Griffin threatens to, detonate a bomb vest attached to, the little girl, Juntao. Or not Juntao, I'm sorry, her name is Su Young. So, yeah, Su Young. And demands that the ransom be paid in full, as well as the priceless Chinese artifacts. So Carter sneaks out, locates the little girl, Su Young, in the van and drives it to the building, preventing him from setting off the vest. So then Johnson, who's the female detective, she gets the vest off of Su Young, and Griffin heads off to the roof with a bag of money. So then Lee takes the vest, pursues Griffin while Carter shoots, and he, of course, kills him in the gunfight. And then Lee had a brief altercation with Griffin, which culminates in them dangling from the rafters, screaming for their life. And Griffin holding on to the vest, he falls to his death when the straps are torn. But when Lee falls, Carter catches him in a big, large flag. If y'all remember, he's running and, Lee's like, help me, I can't hold on much longer. And so he's dangling and Carter, grabs him. And Consulate Han and his daughter, Su Young, they're reunited. And then Han sends Carter and Lee on vacation to Hong Kong as a reward. But before Carter leaves, he is offered a position with the FBI, which he mockingly refuses. And Carter then boards the plane with Lee, who annoyingly starts singing "War." Who, good God, y'all, what is it good for? They start singing that off key. That's Edwin Starr's song, "War." But anyway, what I want to say is that was the plot of the first one. Just to give you guys a quick recap, a stroll down memory lane on this good Throwback Thursday. And this right here is, of course, inspired Halloween costume by Carter and Su Young when she's like, push the button. That little girl was so cute in this movie. This whole movie, again, which is the reason why it's a fourth one being made. It was a classic, cult classic, and I just am so excited to see what they're going to do with the fourth in the series. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that Throwback Thursday recap, and let me know in the comments what your favorite part of the movie was. I loved it start to finish. But my favorite part would probably be when they were in the car and they were going back and forth over that radio, because that's hilarious and Chris Tucker is hilarious. But anyway, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will talk with y'all later. Take care, aces. Bye.